Hello, children. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well. And after the Sunday, right? It's immediately the next session. Hope you have enjoyed the Sunday, the last day. Of course, because of the COVID 19, every day is looking like Sunday, right? So, when it comes to the session, welcome to the session. Welcome to alcohols, phenols, and ether session, children. As of now, we do not have, nobody have any, certain idea about reopening of colleges or schools. So that's the reason. So I would like to share a few points about it. Number one, don't lose your hope. Please continue the preparation. Whether colleges are going to reopen or not, that is secondary. So please continue the preparation. Engage with your studies. Engage with your subject. When you engage with your subject, children, you can remember the concepts, right? Or else it would be so difficult once, okay, the exam started. Once, okay, if they announce exams, at that point of time, if you would start preparation, definitely I'm telling you, it would be a burden for you. So at a time, all the topics or all the subjects or all the chapters preparation is not so easy. That's the reason I'm telling you, children. So please don't lose hope. Continue with your preparation, especially those who are appearing for the competitive examinations along with your boards, either NEET or JEE. So please revise NCERT perfectly and solve more number of questions. Is that clear? So follow our lectures regularly. And one thing I would like to tell you, children, so please watch the full lecture. Watch the full lecture, children. Right? So if you watch the full lecture, you will understand the continuation. You will understand the continuation, as well as you will understand the concepts also clearly. Right? Whenever I am premiering the video, better to watch on that day, on the same time. Right? Fix it that time, as I keep on telling you. For class 11, it is 7:45, but for class 12 it is 6 p.m. right? So every day, so I'll be premiering, or if I come to the live show or the live class, it is always by 6 p.m. for class 12 children. Understood? So without delaying it, so I'll be going into the topic, right? So in the last lecture, if you observe it, children, we are discussed about the reactions involving breaking of OH bond is done. Hope you remember. Breaking of OH bond, two reactions we have done. Number one is acidic nature of alcohols. Number two is esterification. Clear? Now in this session, we will be talking about involving reactions involving breaking of CO bond. Breaking of CO bond. Or else you can say RO bond. RO bond. Understood? So next we are going to talk about under this category. Category number 2, it is category number 1. Category number 1 reactions are done. Now under category number 2, first reaction I am going to talk about is action of aloe acid. That is nothing but HX, and the test name is Lucas test. So you have already learnt about Lucas test in the previous chapter called alloalkanes alloarenes. Hope you remember that. Alloalkanes alloarenes, in that also we had discussed about it under preparation methods of alkyl halides. That process is called as Groves process. That process is called as Groves process, children. So in that we are going to talk about the first reaction, children. Alcohols, when they react with HX, hydrogen halide or halogen acid, water molecule can be removed. Dehydration takes place and it forms alkyl halide. It forms alkyl halide. As you know, concentrated hydrochloric acid plus anhydrous ZnCl2 is called Lucas reagent. Lucas reagent is used to LR. LR means Lucas reagent. Understood? It is used to distinguish between It is used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. For suppose in the laboratory they have given an organic compound containing functional group is alcohol, but you have found it as alcohol, but if you would like to distinguish whether it is primary, secondary or tertiary alcohol, so we will use which reagent? Lucas reagent. Or which test we will use it? Lucas test. Children, we can perform different experiments. So one is Lucas test. Most familiar one is Lucas test. Second one is oxidation. Second one is oxidation. Third one is Victor-Meyer's test. Third one is Victor-Meyer's test. So Victor-Meyer test is not there in the NCERT. What does it mean? It is not there for the board, but it is there for the competitive, right? So these are the three experiments can be used to distinguish primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. Lucas test and oxidation is there in the NCERT, right? So in Lucas test, if you observe with children, we will take the alcohol and we will add the HCl, concentrated HCl in the presence of anhydrous NaCl is called Lucas reagent. No, so that Lucas reagent you will add it. For suppose it is alcohol you have taken, but you don't know which alcohol it is. In the test tube you have taken alcohol. What you have added? Lucas reagent you have added. So after adding Lucas reagent, if it turns into white turbidity, if it turns into white turbidity, if it forms white turbidity immediately. Turbidity means it's like a cloudy white PPT, cloudy white precipitate. For suppose if you see, take curd and add it to water, then if you just mix it, how does it looks like? So similarly here also, turbidity means a white PPT if it is formed immediately, in fraction of seconds if it forms, that alcohol is tertiary alcohol. That alcohol is a tertiary alcohol. For suppose if it formed after some time, that is secondary alcohol. If it is formed after heating, then it is primary alcohol, right? So this is the way we can distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. Is it clear? So that test only I am writing it now. Distinguishable reaction between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol will give the immediate turbidity. Upon adding Lucas reagent, it will give the turbidity immediately. If it is secondary alcohol, it will give turbidity after some time, 5 minutes, right? Primary alcohol generally cannot produce the turbidity at room temperature, but they can produce the turbidity on heating. On heating means which can give the turbidity immediately? Tertiary alcohol, right? So order of the reactivity of alcohol, if you observe it, the same thing we had discussed even in alkyl halides chapter also. If you have any doubts in detail explanation there, you can go for that lecture also. Order of reactivity of alcohols: tertiary alcohol greater than secondary alcohol greater than primary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol is more reactive towards the Lucas test as it produces the white turbidity immediately. Okay. Now if you observe that, this point you can understand with the help of mechanism also even, right? So CH3, CH3, CHOH, CH3, HI. Hydrogen iodide they took it. For suppose this OH is combining with this H, removed as water, and it should form CHI here, but actually I is forming over here, right? So supposed to be the product, if you observe it, according to you also, supposed to be the product like this, but we didn't get it this product, but we got this product. This is the major product, this is the minor product. You can guess it what is the reason. You can guess it what is the reason, of course. So it is forming a tertiary pentyl iodide. A 3-degree alkyl halide has been formed during the course of reaction, right? So plus H2 has been removed. Why? If you observe the mechanism, then it will be more clear for you why it is happening like that. So first step obviously protonation. So protonation, it forms a protonated alcohol. It forms a protonated alcohol. Once it forms the protonated alcohol, we have to polarize this bond, right? As a step 2, formation of the carbocation. If you polarize the bond, in the sense this bond you are breaking, so carbon develops the positive charge. Carbon develops the positive charge. This carbon connected to how many carbons? 2 carbons. Hence it is a secondary carbocation. Hence it is a secondary carbocation. As you know, secondary carbocation is a less stable carbocation. Secondary carbocation is a less stable carbocation. That less stable carbocation can be rearranged to more stable carbocation by the help of 1,2 hydrate shift, or by the help of 1,2 phenyl shift, or by the help of 1,2 methyl shift. By any shift, okay, this carbocation can be rearranged to more stable carbocation. See, hydrate shift followed by formation of stable 3-degree carbocation to give 3-degree alcohol halide. So this H will be shifted over there, right? If it is shifted, it forms a 3-degree carbocation. Observe it is more stable. A less stable carbocation has been rearranged to more stable carbocation. Then iodide ion is going to attack. It forms a tertiary alkyl iodide. It forms a tertiary alkyl iodide. Hope you understand the point. Is it clear for you, children? Right? So that's the reason this can be formed as a major product. This can be formed as a major product. Right? Now try to solve the MCQs. The question is primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols are distinguished by. Primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols are distinguished by. How do you distinguish these alcohols? By which test? Oxidation, Lucas, Victor Meyer's method. All of these are correct only. So option D is the correct answer. Clear? Very simple question. Next. Another very simple question. Which alcohol is most reactive towards HCl in the presence of anhydrous ZnCl2? That is nothing but Lucas reagent. So he is asking you that towards Lucas reagent, which alcohol is more reactive? Tertiary alcohol is more reactive than secondary than primary. Option C is the correct answer. Lucas reagent is very simple question. Even in first chapter, that is haloalkanes, haloarenes also we have learned. Lucas reagent is mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous ZnCl2. Right? So that is the first reaction what we have learned. Okay, under reactions involving breaking of the CO bond. Under reactions involving breaking of the CO bond, that is the first reaction. Now, another reaction we are going to talk about it. First reaction with halogen acid is done. Now second is with phosphorus halides. This also we have done in alkyl halides chapter. See, once if you know the first chapter, second chapter, one chapter if you know, you can relate it to the next chapter. So many reactions you can relate it. With phosphorus halides in the sense, you can take PX3, you can take PX5. Okay, phosphorus trihalide as well as phosphorus pentahalide. So alcohol, whenever it reacts with phosphorus trihalide, it gives alkyl halide plus phosphorus acid, H3PO3 with PCl5. So with PCl5, what is going to happen? Alcohol plus PCl5, it gives alkyl chloride plus POCl3 plus HCl, right? So those are the two reactions. As these reactions we have done in the previous chapter, that's why I am not explaining once again in detail. In detailed explanation was already given. Now with SOCl2, SOCl2 is nothing but thionyl chloride. SOCl2 is nothing but thionyl chloride. With the thionyl chloride, the method is called as Dargen's method. What is that method called? Dargen's method or Dargen's process, right? So it is the best method for the chlorination due to byproducts are gases. As you know, SO2 can be formed as well as HCl can be formed, which are released as gases. Understood? So if you take the reaction, alcohol whenever it reacts with thionyl chloride in the presence of pyridine, it gives alkyl chloride plus sulfur dioxide and hydrochloric acid. Understood? So both sulfur dioxide and hydrochloric acid are removed as gases, hence alkyl halide is formed in the major yield or major amount. That's the reason this method is the most preferable method compared to other methods for the preparation of alkyl chlorides. Understood? So let's solve MCQs. Alcohols on treatment with PCl3, phosphorus trihalide. What it will give? Alkyl chloride. Similarly, best method to prepare alkyl chloride is reaction of alcohol with SOCl2, that is also called as Darjan's process, both A and B. Understood, children? So this is okay. Reactions involving CO method. So reactions involving breaking of CO. Reactions involving breaking of CO is done. Now we are going to talk about another very important reaction, children. Another very important reaction, we are going to talk about it. So reactions involving breaking of CO bond involves first reaction, that is reaction with halogen acids, Lucas test. Second reaction with phosphorus halides, reaction with thionyl chloride. Three reactions we have done. Now we are going to talk about dehydration of alcohols. We are going to talk about dehydration of alcohols. Is that clear? Children, it is a very important question for board, whether it is PU board or CBSE board. For PU board, they will ask you, it has 3 marks. They will ask you to write down the mechanism. They will ask you to write down the mechanism. Mechanism of dehydration of alcohols is very important question. Observe it carefully, right? So for PU board as well as for CBSE board also, this question is very important. Understood, children? So dehydration of alcohols means, what is meant by dehydration, children? Dehydration means removal of water. Removal of water with the help of dehydrating agents. With the help of dehydrating agents. The best dehydrating agent we have is concentrated sulfuric acid. What is the reagent we have? Concentrated sulfuric acid is the best example of the dehydrating agent. Understood the point, children? So now dehydration of alcohols, we have two reactions. One is intramolecular dehydration of alcohols and second one is intermolecular dehydration of alcohol. Intramolecular means within one molecule of alcohol. Within one molecule of alcohol. Next, intermolecular. Two different alcohols should be taken. Two different alcohols should be taken. Inter means. Understood the point? So dehydration of alcohols means removal of water from alcohols to give alkene. If you take a single molecule of alcohol, that type of dehydration is called intra. Inter means two different should be there. Two different alcohol should be there. Understood? So first, if you observe it, ethanol, what they took it, 95% H2SO4 and 443 Kelvin. 443 Kelvin. Understood? 443 Kelvin means 170 degrees Celsius. Both you have to remember. Temperature conditions are very important for the competitive exams. So ethanol, whenever it is heated with 95% of H2SO4 or Al2O3, this is called alumina, which also can act as dehydrating agent at 623 Kelvin, means 350 degrees Celsius, will give alkene. A single mole of alcohol has been involved, hence it is intramolecular within the molecule itself. Ethene has been formed by the removal of water. If I take secondary alcohol, if you observe it, concentration has been decreased, temperature has been decreased. I took it only 373 Kelvin. What does it mean? Secondary alcohol is showing more reactivity. When it is whenever showing more reactivity, in the sense conditions can be decreased, temperature can be decreased. 443 has become 373. Here 623 has become 523 with alumina, right? So it gives you alkene once again. It also gives you alkene, means from here OH, from here H can be removed. Similarly, it is alpha, it is beta. So from here OH can be removed, from here H can be removed. Beta elimination or 1, 2 elimination. It is also an example of beta elimination or 1, 2 elimination. Whenever there is a possible formation of two alkenes, in such cases you need to follow Saint-Jeff's rule. You need to follow Saint-Jeff's rule. Understood? Similarly, you can take tertiary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol, if you observe it, how much we have taken? 20% of H2SO4. Right? So concentration has been highly decreased. Temperature also has been decreased. With Al2O3, it is 423 Kelvin. Very less temperature. Understood? Means tertiary butyl alcohol is more reactive towards dehydration compared to secondary, compared to primary. Right? It gives isobutylene or 2-methyl propene by the loss of water. Tertiary butyl alcohol undergo dehydration gives isobutylene or 2-methyl propene. So what you will do here? From here OH can be removed, from here H can be removed, or from any of the carbon. Why? Because any of the carbon can be considered as a beta carbon only. So if you remove the H from any of the beta carbon, it gives isobutylene or 2-methyl propene by the loss of water. Is that clear for you children? Right? So observe the mechanism carefully. Observe the mechanism carefully, everyone. First step is formation of protonated alcohol, or else simply you can write protonation. So we are actually doing this reaction in the presence of a catalyst called concentrated sulfuric acid, which donates proton. Donates a proton. So if it donates the proton, so here that H plus is coming from the acid, lone pair is given to H plus, then it forms OH2 plus. It is called protonated alcohol. What is this alcohol called as? Protonated alcohol. I took it CH3, CH2. Very simple mechanism. OH. H plus has been added. It forms CH3, CH2, OH2 plus. Now oxygen is electron deficient. It takes the electron from the carbon. So obviously what you have to do? You have to break the bond. Which bond? You have to break the bond, this bond. Why? Because it takes the electron from the carbon. So then it can be removed as water. It can be removed as water. So we are breaking or polarizing this bond, means it requires lot of energy. Hence this step is a slow step as well as RDS. RDS means rate determining step. This step is a rate determining step. So it forms a carbocation intermediate by the removal of water molecule. By the removal of water molecule. So now we got carbocation. Obviously, whenever there is a formation of carbocation, there is a possibility of rearrangement. So tertiary alcohol gives the tertiary carbocation. Tertiary alcohol gives the tertiary carbocation. Hence, towards dehydration, which alcohol is more reactive? Tertiary greater than, secondary greater than primary. Understood? So formation of carbocation is done. Now step 3. Step 3, what we have? Deprotonation. Last step is deprotonation. Removal of the proton. We should give back that proton to the acid. Removal of proton. So CH3, CH2 plus. This bond we can polarize it. Right? So if I polarize it, then what will happen? This gets minus, negative charge, negative and positive forms a double bond here. It gives ethene and H plus has been removed. That is accepted by the HSO4 minus. Understood? So order of ease of dehydration of alcohols is tertiary greater than, secondary greater than, primary. Tertiary greater than, secondary greater than, primary. Understood? So these type of conversions are very, very important, children. These type of conversions are very, very important. These are organic conversions. These are organic conversions, very important for CET or for NEET or for JEE mains. JMN means JEE mains. Okay, short way I am writing it. Okay. C2H4 plus HCl in the presence of AlCl3. Then A product will be, what is A? C2H5Cl. KOH, aqueous KOH, which reaction? Nucleophilic substitution. So C2H5OH. Concentrated H2SO4 means obviously dehydration. So it gives you CH2 double bond CH2R C2H4. C2H4. That is option A is the correct answer. Is it clear for you? Next question. Very simple question. Based on temperature 350 degrees Celsius, I took alcohol. Alcohol has been converted into alkene. Means which reaction? Obviously dehydration. Children, this dehydration can be carried out in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, 95% phosphoric acid, alumina, Al2O3, right? Sometimes they will give you P2O5, that is also dehydrating agent only. Why? Because P2O5 when you dissolve in water you will get phosphoric acid. Al2O3 reaction takes place at 350 degrees Celsius. So option D is the correct answer. Hope you understand. So now so far whatever I had discussed, that is intramolecular dehydration within the molecule. But if I take two different molecules, right, in that case like ROH plus ROH, two different alcohols, in that case if dehydration takes place, then it forms ROR, that is called ether, right? But sir, what is the difference, sir? How we can identify? Anyone can guess it? How we can identify? We can identify by the help of temperature conditions. By the help of temperature conditions we can identify. Is it clear, children? So formation of ether from alcohols by dehydration procedure is known as continuous etherification process. What is this called as? A continuous etherification process. Clear? Hope you understand. Let's see that. Okay, reaction. See, temperature difference 413 Kelvin. What is that? 413 means 140 degrees Celsius. Children, if it is 140 degrees Celsius, it gives ether. If it is 170 degrees Celsius, it gives alkene. Understood? 170 means 443 Kelvin. 140 means 413 Kelvin. With alcohol, concentrated sulfuric acid, alcohol gives ether at 140 and alkene at 170 degrees Celsius respectively. Understood? So the temperature part you have to remember it carefully. Is it clear? Less temperature gives ether, more temperature gives alkene. Clear? ROR can be formed. It is also dehydration, from here H, from here OH. Just check that. Whenever you take concentrated, highly concentrated sulfuric acid directly, okay, so it gives alkyl hydrogen sulfate. It gives alkyl hydrogen sulfate. Okay. If you take excess of ethanol with concentrated sulfuric acid, it gives ethyl hydrogen sulfate plus H2, and that ethyl hydrogen sulfate reacts with another mole. Alkyl hydrogen sulfate will be formed, reacts with another mole at 413 Kelvin. At 413 Kelvin. Understood? So, and then it gives diethyl ether or ethoxyethyl. First it forms alcohol with concentrated sulfuric acid at 383 Kelvin. It forms alkyl hydrogen sulfate, and it is undergoing dehydration here. At 413 Kelvin, if I use it, I'll get ether. These are the two steps which are involved in the formation of ether. This type of dehydration is intermolecular dehydration. Why? Because two different alcohols we took it. Understood? If you observe the mechanism, first step is as it is, there is no change in it, same like that. First step is alcohol undergoing protonation forms a protonated alcohol, CH3CH2OH2 plus, right? So as a next step, what will happen? This oxygen is electron deficient now. Why? Because its electrons has been donated to H plus now. Now earlier step, what we have done, this bond we have polarized, formation of carbocation. But this time attack of second mole of alcohol, that is nucleophilic alcohol. Attack of second mole of alcohol, then what will happen? This lone pair will be given to here. Lone pair will be given to here by the removal of water. See, this can be removed. We are breaking this bond. Carbon develops positive charge. That positive charge is being attacked by this lone pair. It forms CH3, CH2OH, CH2, CH3. Understood? Then last step, as you know, this water molecule has been removed. Last step you can guess it. What is the last step? Third step. Obviously, deprotonation. Understood? First step is protonation. Forms a protonated alcohol. That protonated alcohol is being attacked by the nucleophile, means second mole of alcohol. Lone pair is been given to this carbon. OH2 plus has been removed in the form of water. It gives, it gives an intermediate like this and followed by deprotonation. Followed by deprotonation, it is fast step. If you do the deprotonation, you will get diethyl ether. You will get diethyl ether. Understood? This is intermolecular, right? Intermolecular dehydration. So what is the limitation, children? Only simple ethers can be prepared by this method. What is meant by simple ethers? ROR. Both sides alkyl group must be same. Those are nothing but simple ethers. ROR prime means alkyl groups are different. If alkyl groups are different, those are called mixed ethers. Those are called mixed ethers. For suppose if a mixture of two different alcohols I have taken, in that case what will happen? Mixture of different ethers will be formed. Mixture of different ethers will be formed. In that case, whenever there is a formation of mixture of products, it is difficult to isolate. It is difficult to isolate. If I take alcohol here, this is one alcohol, it is second alcohol. Both these alcohols are different. In that case, what will happen? These alcohols can undergo intramolecular. Yes or no? So 2 moles of these alcohols, 2 moles of these alcohols. Inter. Okay, that is inter. 2 moles of these alcohols and 2 moles of these alcohols. 2 moles of these alcohol undergo dehydration gives this product. 2 moles of these alcohols can undergo dehydration gives this product. 1 mole of this alcohol, 1 mole of this alcohol gives this product. Understood? There we got 3 different products. We got 3 different products. So due to that, yield will be less. Hence, we cannot prepare mixed ethers. Why? Because along with mixed ethers, you will get other products also. That is the reason symmetrical ethers can be prepared, or simple ethers can be prepared in a better yield, but not mixed ethers. Clear? Now, see, ethers prepared from this method only from the primary alcohol, because secondary and tertiary alcohol gives alkene by elimination. They preferably gives alkene than the ether, right? If temperature rises, another limitation is temperature rises above 413 Kelvin, then alcohol gives formation of an alkene. At 413 Kelvin, it gives ether. At 443 Kelvin, it gives alkene. So, means at a particular temperature we have to maintain. So, if I raise the temperature at 443, that same alcohol will give alkene. Understood the point? So, summarizing that, alcohol undergoing dehydration in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid at 413 Kelvin gives ether, at 443 Kelvin gives alkene. Understood the point, children? Is it clear for you? Right? Let's solve MCQs. Very simple MCQ it is. Removal of water molecule from an alcohol is called dehydration. Dehydrating agent used for dehydration of alcohols. Best dehydrating agent is concentrated sulfuric acid. Yeah, ethyl alcohol when treated with concentrated sulfuric acid at 413 Kelvin means you will get ether. 443 Kelvin means you will get alkene. Understood? This question I discussed. C2H4 plus HCl gives you C2H5Cl. Aqueous KOH means C2H5OH. Concentrated H2SO4 means obviously dehydration. But this time they have changed the temperature 140. That means I'll get ether. So option B is the correct answer. Diethyl ether, I'll get it. Diethyl ether, I'll get it. Understood? So far we have discussed two category of reactions. Reactions involving breaking of OH bond as well as reactions involving breaking of CO or RO bond. Understood? Under this Lucas test, reaction with phosphorus trihalides, phosphorus pentalides, reaction with thionyl chloride, and reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid or dehydration of alcohols. Understood? Right? So these are the reactions. Here acidity of alcohols, here esterification. These are the reactions so far we have done. Now we are going to talk about third category, that is oxidation of alcohols. Very important. Alcohols can be distinguished also by the oxidation. One of the distinguishing reaction it is. Understood? So now under oxidation reaction, if you observe it, oxidation of alcohols is used to differentiate between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. So that oxidation can be carried out with dilute H2SO4 and K2Cr2O7. This is simply called as acidified potassium dichromate. Acidified potassium dichromate. They will give you as K2Cr2O7/H+. They will give it like that. Okay? Or pyridinium chlorochromate. Best example of the oxidizing agent. PCC or pyridinium dichromate. PDC full form. Pyridinium dichromate. Pyridinium chlorochromate, that is PCC, mixture of CrO3 plus pyridine plus HCl. Mixture of CrO3 plus pyridine plus HCl, it is called pyridinium dichlorochromate, that is nothing but PCC. These are the best examples of oxidizing agents, children. Understood? Okay. Now we are subjecting alcohols to oxidation. Observe carefully, everyone. Alcohol upon oxidation gives aldehyde. Aldehyde on further oxidation gives carboxylic acids. So alcohol on mild oxidation gives aldehyde. Alcohol on mild oxidation gives aldehyde. Alcohol on strong oxidation directly give carboxylic acid. Strong oxidation gives carboxylic acid. Understood? So if you want to stop the reaction at aldehyde stage, you should do the mild oxidation. But if you want to prepare carboxylic acid, then you have to do the strong oxidation. So alcohol upon strong oxidation gives carboxylic acids. Alcohol upon mild oxidation gives carbonyl compounds. Maybe aldehydes or ketones. For suppose if it is primary alcohol gives aldehyde. If it is secondary alcohol gives ketone. Understood the point, children? Is it clear for you? Very simple it is. Very simple path. Right? Did you understand it or not? Reverse reaction. Carboxylic acids can be converted into aldehyde or ketone by reduction. Aldehyde or ketone can be converted into alcohol by reduction. Reduction of carbonyl compounds we have done in the preparation methods of alcohol. Did you remember? Reduction of carbonyl compounds means reduction of aldehydes or ketones gives alcohols. Reverse reaction. All reactions are interrelated. That if you understand, organic chemistry is very, very easy. Is it clear? That you need to understand it carefully. Then only organic chemistry would be very easy. Is it clear? So, oxidation of, one sec, oxidation of primary alcohol, if you observe it, oxidation of primary alcohol will give you, what it will give you? Aldehyde. Oxidation of primary alcohol will give you aldehyde. Which aldehyde we got it here? Acetaldehyde we got it. Understood? So if I take HCOH, so here simple, very simple. Oxidation is nothing but what? Where I will write it here. Yeah. Oxidation is nothing but removal of hydrogen or addition of oxygen, of course. Yes or no? So this bond you are breaking, this bond you are breaking. From here hydrogen you are removing, from here hydrogen you are removing. Then it leads to the formation of C double bond O. The C double bond O is nothing but a carbonyl group. And this carbonyl compounds are nothing but aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes and ketones. Understood the point? So whenever alcohols undergoing oxidation, they will give you carbonyl compounds which are aldehydes and ketones. So primary alcohol, what will happen? This H you are removing it. Yes or no? And this H also you are removing it. You will get CH3, CH, this H. Cut off this H, cut off this H. CH3, CH1. Primary alcohol on oxidation with which one? Acidified dichromate gives acetaldehyde. Okay, carbon number there is no change. Here 2 carbons, here 2 carbons. Clear? Now if I take secondary alcohol, what will happen, children? Cut off this H, cut off this H. Then there is a formation of double bond. So 3 carbons here. So here also 3 carbons. Acetone, propanone, right? Carbon number there is no change in it. 3 carbon, 3 carbon. So secondary alcohol has been oxidized to acetone. Secondary alcohol has been oxidized to acetone. So acetone or propan 2-one or dimethyl ketone. Understood the point? Is it clear for you? So CH3 CHOH CH3 upon oxidation will give you CH3 COCH3. Right? So if you remove these 2 hydrogens, it forms a double bond. Next, oxidation of tertiary alcohol. Observe it carefully, children. See, cut off H here. Cut off H here. Of course, if you cut off the H, but there is no hydrogen attached to the carbon. There is no hydrogen attached to the carbon. That's the reason tertiary alcohols cannot be oxidized easily. Tertiary alcohol cannot be oxidized easily. Why? Because there is no tertiary hydrogen atom. There is no hydrogen atom attached to the tertiary carbon. Right? That's why instead of it, what will happen? It will undergo dehydration, forms alkene. It will undergo dehydration with CrO3. It will undergo dehydration with CrO3, that is chromium oxide or chromium trioxide. Okay, with the chromium trioxide, it gives alkene. Understood the point, children? Right? So here 4 carbon are there and here also 4 carbon. Sir, why you are giving 4 carbon, 3 carbon, 3 carbon? Okay, carbons are retained, carbons are decreased or increased, but in all of these carbon number is retained. But if I use a stronger oxidizing agent, then what will happen? Carbon number decreased. Why? Because breaking of CC bond takes place. Breaking of CC bond takes place if I use stronger oxidizing agent. But as of now, I have not used any stronger oxidizing agent here. I have used a mild oxidizing agent. That mild oxidizing agent helps the alcohol just to remove the hydrogens. Give the corresponding aldehydes or ketones. Primary alcohol will give aldehyde, secondary alcohol will give ketone. But whenever you use stronger oxidizing agent, in such cases, what will happen? Breaking of CC bond takes place, degradation takes place. It gives the different products like carboxylic acids. Understood? Is it clear for you? So here if you observe that, sorry, just wait. Primary and secondary and tertiary alcohol on vigorous oxidation gives carboxylic acid. But primary alcohol gives carboxylic acid with same number of carbon atom. But secondary alcohol gives carboxylic acid with 1 carbon atom less. But tertiary alcohol gives carboxylic acid with 2 carbon atom less. Vigorous oxidation means which oxidizing agent should be used? Strong oxidizing agent should be used. Like alkaline KMnO4. Like alkaline KMnO4. Which even disrupts double bond also. If double bond is there, the double bond also can be disrupted. That's the reason, okay, that if double bond disrupted, then it will form carboxylic acids. We have learned in the first year alkenes oxidation with Bayer's reagent, right? Alkaline KMnO4 oxidation. Once check it there, you will get an idea, right? Oxidation of alcohols is carried out by using, yes, dilute H2SO4 K2Cr2O7 means acidified dichromate, PCC pyridinium chlorochromate, PDC pyridinium dichromate, all of these are examples. Primary alcohol on oxidation gives, very simple, RCH2OH with PCC. PCC is the best reagent, children, for conversion of primary alcohol to aldehyde. Primary alcohol always gives a aldehyde. Secondary alcohol on oxidation gives RCRHOH. From here H, from here H. RCOR. Secondary alcohol on oxidation gives ketones. Understood the point? Is it clear? Right? So now, before going to that part, dehydrogenation, let's talk about oxidizing agents. If I use it, reagent and action. Reagent and action. I am taking chromic acid, that is H2CrO4, which is a strong oxidizing agent, converts primary alcohol to carboxylic acid. Primary alcohol to carboxylic acid. Sir, I don't want to convert primary alcohol to carboxylic acid. Then I can use PCC as well as PDC. PCC or PDC, which can convert primary alcohol to aldehyde. Primary alcohol to aldehyde. Next, CrO3 in the presence of H2SO4, which especially used for secondary alcohol to ketone. Secondary alcohol to ketone. Another one we have Jones reagent. Very important for competitive. Jones reagent is nothing but chromic acid plus aqueous acetone. Chromic acid plus aqueous acetone is called Jones reagent. Just wait. What is its action? It can convert primary alcohol to aldehyde. Primary alcohol to aldehyde. Secondary alcohol to carboxylic acid. Sorry, secondary alcohol to ketone. Secondary alcohol to ketone without disturbing double bond. It won't disturb the double bond, children. It won't disturb the double bond. We have another oxidizing agent, that is MnO2. MnO2 is an example of selective oxidizing agent. It is an example of a selective oxidizing agent, children. It selectively oxidizes allylic and benzylic primary and secondary alcohols. It selectively oxidizes allylic, benzylic, primary and secondary alcohols to aldehydes and ketones respectively. Understood? So whenever if I use strong oxidizing agent, see here I am stopping at aldehydes and ketone stage only. Sir, what about aldehyde if it undergo oxidation? What about ketone undergo oxidation? That we will discuss under chapter called aldehydes ketones. Continuation, see the continuation, right? every topic or every chapter in organic chemistry is interrelated. Understood the point? Is it clear for you? Right? Now let's talk about similar reaction, that is dehydrogenation. Just wait. It's not responding. Okay, fine. So we are going to talk about a reaction. What is that? Dehydrogenation of alcohols. Dehydrogenation is nothing but removal of hydrogen. Removal of hydrogen is nothing but oxidation only. Removal of hydrogen is nothing but oxidation with copper at 573 Kelvin or 300 degrees Celsius. Another very important question for organic conversions. Understood? And this reaction also used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Why? See, if I take primary alcohol, obviously primary alcohol will give aldehyde. Primary alcohol will give aldehyde. Secondary alcohol will give ketone. Secondary alcohol will give ketone. Similarly, what you can take it here, from here H, from here H, HCHO we got it. Removal of hydrogen only. CH3CHO. Primary alcohol will give ethanol, acetaldehyde. From here H, from here H. Secondary alcohol will give acetone. Primary alcohol will give ethanol, acetaldehyde. Copper with 573 Kelvin, right? At 573 Kelvin. But whereas tertiary alcohol, removal of hydrogen cannot be possible. Why? Because there is no hydrogen attached to the carbon. So then what will be the product, children? Can you guess it? Here I can remove H, but there is no other H to remove it. So there is no other hydrogen which is attached to the tertiary carbon. In such cases, it will undergo dehydration. It forms alkene. It forms alkene, children. Is it clear? So that's the reason catalytic dehydrogenation is also used to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Why? Primary alcohols will give aldehyde, whereas secondary alcohols will give ketone, whereas tertiary alcohol will give alkene. That's the reason we can use this reaction also to distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols. Understood the point, children? Right? Let's solve some MCQs. Primary alcohols on dehydrogenation will give, obviously, very simple, aldehyde. Ethanol on dehydrogenation, ethanol, ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH. It gives ethanal, aldehyde, acetaldehyde. Propan 2-ol on dehydrogenation. Propan 2-ol means secondary alcohol. Secondary alcohol on dehydrogenation will give ketone, right? Hope you understand, children. That's all for today. See, if you observe it, I'll be summarizing that preparation of alcohols is done. Properties of alcohols is done. Physical properties of alcohols also done. Chemical properties also done. Physical and chemical is done. So alcohol part is done. Now still what is pending now? Phenol as well as ethers. So what we will talk about under phenol? Preparation of phenols, chemical properties of phenols. Similarly ethers, preparations of ethers, chemical properties of ethers. Hope you got the clarity. Is that clear? So please revise the NCERT after completion of the topic without a delay. Okay? Hope you enjoyed the session. If you like it, please click on the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for further notifications and videos. And if you have a time, please share this video to your friends. It will be useful for them even. Right? So, and if you have any doubts, please don't hesitate to ask. Post it in the comment box. I'll be immediately, typically I'll give you the reply within 1 to 2 hours without any delay. Sometimes, okay, immediately also I'll give the reply. Depends on my presence in online. Is that clear? Right? Until then, take care. Signing off. Bye bye.